It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? Give yourselves a hand. Thank you for watching the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago. Okay, it's a couple minutes after 6:30, or it's a couple minutes after 5:30. Okay, just relax. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Exhale out, okay? 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m.-ish, a little after 3:30 on the West Coast. Subscribe, share, screen grab. That means pull a video clip, pull a lot of video clips, and make it go viral right here. Create a YouTube short, or you could just create a viral video moment on any of your social media platforms. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all my back episodes as I come to you live, all right? The Geno Jones Show live, brought to you by CM, like Mary, CM Transportation. If your business needs dependable, reliable, on-time deliveries, or if you have a business and the transportation company you use is not dependable, you can't rely on them, and they're like never on time, or like you don't know if they're going to be on time or not, you need to get CM Transportation in your life. Carissa Carter. You can Google her. She's on Facebook, also on social media platforms. Do the Google, you get the contact information, and tell her Geno Jones said, hey, listen, I hear your transportation company is dependable, reliable, and always on time. She got you covered. Let's jump the show off, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday to Halle Bailey of Chloe and Halle, actress, very talented young lady, 24 today, and Mariah Carey, who one of my nephews, Kristen Jones, who is will be the future POTUS. One day he'll be the president of the United States. No joke, he's a brilliant young man, and he has got to be like a Cheryl Lynn song back in the day, to be real. He's got to be the number one Mariah Carey. This dude's got all of her stats memorized. As a matter of fact, Mariah, you need to hire my nephew. He needs to be your publicist. I'm telling you. He probably knows more of your stats than you do. Mariah Carey, double nickel today. Happy birthday, Mariah. And Kristen, just happy day. Oh, happy day. Like an old gospel song. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. I think that was the Edwin Hawkins Singers. It sounded just a little more on key than that one was, but I digress. Mariah is double nickel today. Happy birthday, Mariah. Mariah. I can hear Mariah in the old DB, old dirty bastard song. Me and Mariah, like beans and whatever it is, Messiah. All right. If you are a fan of the movie like I am, Bad Boys, Bad Boys, Bad Boys, what you gonna do when they come for you? I don't know what it is with the singing today. I mean, am I auditioning for American Idol? Big fan of Bad Boys. And yes, this is it. This is it. The final in the series, Bad Boys, with Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. He gets to slap and shoot people and not get in trouble. I don't know if he slaps the taste out of anybody's mouth like it did Chris Rock, but there's some gunplay. I saw the trailer. I love it. Coming to a theater near you on June 7th. Yes, Mike Lowry. That's Will Smith's character. And I can't think of Martin's character's name. But anyway, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Bad Boys. And I saw the trailer. I don't want to spoil it for you, but you'll have to see it. But it's typical action-packed. It's got the humor, the wit, and it's got stuff blowing up. It's got all of it. Everything that made you fall in love with those Bad Boy movies, Bad Boy 1, Bad Boy 2. Bad Boys for Life. Now, this one is called Bad Boys Ride or Die. There you go, June 7th. Get ready for that. Now, the latest in the Sean Diddy Combs saga. So apparently, according to Billboard magazine, Diddy agreed to sell his stake in Revolt TV. You know, he was the CEO, he was the chairman of Revolt TV. If it's on cable, you probably got it. And so he stepped away. He stepped away as chairman back in last November of 2023, when the whole stories about Cassie accusing him of like sexual abuse and forcing her to have sex with other people, and like abuse, domestic violence, and he settled that case. And then you've had other people, a 17-year-old woman filed a civil lawsuit saying that, alleging that Diddy and Aaron Hall raped her. And then it was a young dude, a producer, who was his, actually it was a young, he's not his producer, he was like his videographer. And he claims that Diddy sexually assaulted him, among other things. So they're coming. I'll talk about that in a minute, because I've been having some conversations since, especially last night's monologue. If you missed it, go check it out. But anyway, so today, according to Billboard magazine, Diddy, he sold his shares of Revolt TV. So I guess the folks at Revolt's like, yo, dude, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here, because you making life difficult for us. Come on. We got mortgages and bills and tuition to pay and car notes. Some of them got mistresses and side pieces. They paying for 2 or 3 households. Okay, all right, that part. It's a joke. Maybe, I don't know. It could be true. So Diddy has stepped away. Of course, now remember, Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and in Miami on Star Island. So Star Island is like this little island. If you go to downtown Miami, and they have a bridge, they're called causeways. And so if you take the causeway from downtown Miami to Miami Beach, because Miami Beach is separate from the city of Miami, it's just a little, like I said, a little, it's a couple, these bridges that they call causeways. So the main causeway from downtown Miami to go to Miami Beach, there's an island off to the side. It's called Star Island. And all these multi-million-dollar mansions on this island. Shaq had a home on Star Island. There was a time I heard Jennifer Lopez, she may still have a home on Star Island. All these big celebrities, I think, did I hear that Gloria Estefan had one? And apparently Diddy has a home on Star Island. But the feds raided that. Homeland Security, federal agents raided that home in Miami and in Los Angeles in connection with an investigation of sex trafficking, which the young man who was his videographer accused Diddy of being a part in some kind of sex trafficking, about these wild parties. And they would, have young women, some underage, just, listen, man. So Wendy Williams, back in the day, Wendy Williams was telling folks about things that she heard, that she knew of, people who were part of stuff that happened to them. Wendy Williams, she would tell you all about Diddy when she had a radio show in L.A. This is before she got not L.A., in New York City, the Wendy Williams show. She was on WBLS, and people, they said Wendy was hating. She was hating, trying to take the black man down. And I'm just saying, just listen, guys. I know we all have people that we adore and love, and we idolize, or we're fans of them, or we root for them. I'm not rooting for Diddy. I'm not rooting for his demise, not at all. Hell, I wasn't rooting for R. Kelly's demise. I knew R. Kelly personally. I told the story. I knew Robert Kelly. I met Robert Kelly before the world met R. Kelly. when Robert was a member of a group called MGM Grand, and they were on a show, like a variety show, a talent show, that Natalie Cole was the host of way back in like 1990, 91, called The Big Break. Natalie Cole's Big Break. You can Google it. I bet you can find the video right here on YouTube. And so that season around 1990, so they had it was almost like American Idol before American Idol. It was a contest, talent contest, and this group out of Chicago called MGM Grand, they were the grand prize winners. They won like $100,000. Now, before they taped that show, one weekend, I was doing a radio show in Los Angeles at Stevie Wonder's station KJLH. So a guy, brother named, I can't think of Craig's last name, but anyway, so Craig was like managing, I guess, MGM Grand, and then he and Robert, he was working with Robert because Robert, before we knew him as R. Kelly, had a demo. And I'll never forget Craig say, hey man, I want you to come, I want you to hear something. I came down to the Sheraton Burbank Hotel in Burbank, California, never forget. And I know I told the story before. So Craig invited me up, he introduced me, he said, hey man, this is Robert, and we want you to listen to something. A giant gray, like steel gray boom box. You know, back in the day they had the giant boom boxes. And Craig pressed play and played a demo tape. And 2 years later, the music I heard on that demo tape in that hotel room at the Sheraton Universal in Burbank, California, was the exact same music that I heard on a guy named R. Kelly and Public Announcement's debut album, Born in the 90s. So the point I'm trying to make, I knew Robert before the world knew him as R. Kelly. I rooted for him. But as we went on in the 90s, still commuting back and forth to Chicago, my mother still lives in Chicago, it was not even a secret that now R. Kelly, king of R&B, mega star, superstar, selling out tours, selling out basketball arenas, going on tour, writing for Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, you know, as a producer, performer, and songwriter. Listen, R. Kelly was it. But what people in Chicago also knew, that R. Kelly wasn't a reputation, was known to like to date young, and in cases, underage, under 18 women. He regularly hung out at the high school he attended was Kenwood High School. Regularly, not even a secret. And people at the school knew it, saw him, hanging out, talking with girls getting in his cars. High school girls. Okay? This was like late 90s, 2000s, probably mid-90s maybe. So people, this was not a secret. And then the whole story about what they call the P tape, which was the R&B singer Sparkle. He produced her first album, the only album they did together. Google Sparkle. She had a hit produced by R. Kelly. He was actually singing on a big hit with her. And apparently, or allegedly, the young lady, the underage, I think they say she was like 13 or 14. This young lady who was being urinated on in this video that showed R. Kelly urinating on this young girl was Sparkle's niece. Stuff blew up. There was a guy, a writer in Chicago, Jim D. Rogatis. He used to work at I don't know if he's at the Chicago Sun-Times now, but he was like a music critic at the Chicago Sun-Times. But somehow, I think he got this tape. I know he had gotten wind, he had gotten stories. People was talking to Jim D. Rogatis and telling the writer and the reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times about the things that R. Kelly was doing. Then they had a trial, and he got off. They found him not guilty, but this behavior still went on. And people in Chicago knew it. There are people in my family that were on elevators, on an elevator with R. Kelly and a famous person who's no longer living from Chicago. You saw him in a couple movies. On the elevator, R. Kelly and this deceased comedian who became not a big movie star, but he was in a couple movies. On the elevator with young underage women. And like champagne, alcohol, going up to one of these teenage girls' apartment. Because my family member lived in the same building. And they actually, those four, they got on an elevator with a family member of mine. So people knew this. Knew it. People would ride by certain buses that went by Kenwood High School. Who knew R. Kelly's car would see R. Kelly's car parked out. They could say, well, just because the car's parked don't mean stop. It wasn't even a secret. So, just segue to Diddy. Wendy Williams was not the only people telling the public or anybody that would listen about the things that Puffy allegedly did, from people who were victims or people who were at the parties and witnessed them, or Diddy called them freak-offs, and the videographer, the young brother that was the videographer who videotaped a lot of this stuff, who alleges that Diddy sexually assaulted him, he said he videotaped a lot of this stuff. So it wasn't a secret. But when Wendy Williams was sharing the stories that she was either telling, like third person, people in New York, a lot of people in New York, just like a lot of people in Chicago, knew these things and what was going on with Diddy and these parties and people and how he treated people, the same way with R. Kelly. So it wasn't a secret. Now, I've gotten some blowback, which I don't give a damn. I mean, I don't. And I get, some fun, man, leave Puffy alone, man. Listen, the truth will set you free. And my grandmother taught me, she said, Jeannie, the truth needs no defense. Now, full disclosure, and I've been very open thanks to my mother, who allowed me to share her stories about how she was a victim of not just domestic violence, but sexual violence. I have other women in my family who were victims. So this is personal to me. But you shouldn't even have to have someone in your family, a woman in your family, that's been some type of victim of sexual violence or sexual abuse or sexual assault or domestic violence to say, come on, dude, this is not who we are. When I've said, violence, domestic violence, violence against women is not a woman's problem, it's a man's problem. And sexual violence or sexual assault, sexual misconduct toward women by men, it's not a woman's problem. It's not that she was fast and young and, she dressed like a hoe and she had on a little skirt. You could see her pubic hair and she was just all up on him and just in his lap. It's up to the adult to have common sense, decency, and discretion to not take advantage of a child. And even if it's a child in a woman's body, this person has the mind of a child or a teenager. Humans' brains are not even fully formed until they turn 25 or 26. And like I said yesterday, Dr. King had a saying. He said, what good is power if it's not attached to love? And power, and then I paraphrase that, power doesn't give you permission to prey on people. Power does not give you permission to be a predator. It does not. It doesn't excuse it. And yes, I don't know Diddy's history, but I do know, yes, R. Kelly was a victim and hurt people. But as my grandmother, as my grandparents and my mother will still tell me, my mother would tell me today, two wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in doing wrong. Period. Full stop. Even if you were done wrong, you then turning around and doing wrong won't make you right. So at some point, we have to, as a culture, we got to stand up. And as men, we got to hold each other accountable. We have to hold each other accountable. And we have to have, and this goes for everybody, not just in our culture, but in life. I've said this many times on the show. We all, everybody, I don't care who you are, I don't care how famous you are, I don't care if you're worth $500 billion. Everybody needs to have somebody or a small circle of people. Even if it's just one person, we all need to have somebody in our life that can save us from ourselves. Because we all are human, we all make mistakes. And just, things can be going great and we can be feeling ourselves and feel like we're on top of the world and that our shit don't stink and that we can do anything we want to because we got power, money, resources. Power. What good is power if it's not attached to love? And having power, financial power, political power, influence, whatever kind of power you have. Power in the workplace because you own the business or because you are the CEO or you are the supervisor, you're the president or whatever. That power doesn't give you permission to prey on people. That power does not give you permission to be a predator. It does not. Because, like I said, a famous philosopher, Damaris Jones, said recently, karma, she's a slow bitch, but she'll eventually show up. And she will. Period. And yes, Elvis married, Priscilla when she was, 15 or 16. Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin and she was 13. And Bill Clinton did stuff with Monica Lewinsky. She was an intern. He was the president. And Matt Lauer, he got fired as the lead anchor and host on the Today Show. And Harvey Weinstein is legendary filmmaker, producer out in Los Angeles, who's in jail now, and Jeffrey Epstein, who knew most of these powerful dudes, including Bill Clinton and orange jumpsuit jackass Hitler, a.k.a. Donald Jackass Trump, who has pictures of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump posing with young, very young-looking women who allegedly, speaking of Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly, supposedly, somehow, he was found hanged in prison, and the narrative from the jail was that he hung himself. Now, but Jeffrey Epstein allegedly had all these hidden video and audio tapes of all these famous, powerful people in compromising situations doing stuff. Jeffrey Epstein, because there's a woman, Maxine Ghislaine, who's doing time now. She was like the bag lady or the recruiter, where she would recruit young women and they would fly them to some island in the Caribbean that Jeffrey Epstein had or had a home, and where they had these parties where these powerful men could come and have sex with these young, in many cases, underage women. So none of that was a secret. So it's not about color. It's about right and wrong. So, but yes, you'll say, well, yeah, but man, they always try to take the black man down. Look, I'm a black man. But before Bill Cosby was going to buy NBC, because that narrative is like, well, you know, they took Bill Cosby down because he wanted to buy NBC. But long before Bill Cosby was even on NBC, these incidents with these women and slipping drugs in their drinks and having sex with them was going on. And no, he wasn't the only one in Hollywood doing it. But as my grandmother told me, she said, Jeannie, are you going to go jump off the bridge just because somebody else, your friend, your next door neighbor, the kid, just because he does it? Are you going to jump off the bridge if he does? At some point, we got to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to hold each other accountable. There were people, and I've said it before, around R. Kelly, who tried to warn him, who tried to save him from himself, and those people found themselves phased out of R. Kelly's life. People who trusted him, worked with him, helped build his career, supported him. He fell out with them. Some people who he was so close to, he would even mention their names in his music. But it got to a point to where they had to part ways. Because R. Kelly just got to a point to where it didn't matter. He just felt he could do what he wanted to do with whoever. Now Diddy. The things that you guys are hearing about now publicly about Diddy, people in the entertainment industry. I've worked in radio and TV, entertainment industry for over 3.5 decades, almost 4, since the mid-'80s. And this stuff, we heard about stuff about Diddy back in the 90s. People in New York, talk to enough people in New York. Heck, a lot of them were at the parties. Some famous singers were bragging about what they did at some of these Diddy parties. So, tell the truth, shame the devil, man. But we all need somebody to save us from ourselves. And in 2024, especially as a culture, we got to be able to hold each other accountable. And we need to have somebody in our life. Because see, a true friend will tell you what you need to hear when you need to hear it. They're not going to tell you what you want to hear. A true friend is like, look, I'm telling you this because I love you, and you're doing harm to someone. You're in a position of power and influence, and you've got wealth, so you got financial power, and you've got power in terms of your business or career or the field you're in. You can't use that power. Can't use that power to prey on people. That power doesn't give you permission to prey on people and be a predator. Because you're harming people, and eventually, that slow bitch that the famous philosopher talked about, that slow bitch named Karma, she's eventually going to show up at your door. So to keep from having that karma show up at your door, have someone in your life that can get to you before that karma gets to you and say, hey, come on, this is not what we do. This is not what we do. So I'm not trying to take any black man down because I'm a black man. But I have people in my life and have had people in my life. And still to this day, thank God, I got people in my life that will have one of them is watching me right now, that will have no hesitation of saving me from myself. Who will call me, video call me, or just step to me face to face, look me in my eye and say, yo, you need to stop, you need to chill out, you need to take a deep breath. Because to quote another famous philosopher, KRS-One, you are headed for self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. And speaking of that, in closing, in a move that is guaranteed eternal damnation and burning in hell, the man that once posed in front of cameras, holding a Bible upside down and backwards, is now selling Bibles. Days before Easter Sunday and Good Friday. For $60. Yes, the man who we affectionately refer to on this show as Orange Jumpsuit Jackass Hitler. Orange Hitler, a.k.a. Donald J. And the J, it's got to stand for jackass. Donald J. Trump. Of all people, the most amoral, unchristian person in America, probably qualifies to be one of the most unchristian people on this planet, has the nerve to sell this Bible, selling his endorsed Bible for $60. So I guess if he figures, okay, if I sell 8 million Bibles, then that'll be, do the math. Let's see, $60 times 8 million, 600, that'll be over 480 million. Actually, it would only be like 48. It wouldn't be enough. He'd probably need to sell like 80 million to get that over $460 million that he's facing, that bond, that second bond, not to mention the 93. Be very careful. Be very careful. Playing with God. Orange Hitler, a message to you. Your arms are too short to box with God. Now, I know some of your followers have called you Orange Jesus or the Messiah or White Jesus. Be very careful. Using Christianity basically as a grift, as a hustle, as a con to get money. And to many of these MAGA cult members who call themselves Christians, and yes, I'm calling you out. Because I don't know what form of Christianity, because what you need to understand, this Christianity that we practice in America is really a remixed version of Christianity. Because if you really want to do some homework, Google Coptic Christians. You know, Christianity began on the continent of Africa. As a matter of fact, Ethiopia. Oh yeah. Oh, it didn't start in Southern Baptist Church in Alabama, or Southern Carolina, where I'm at, or Kentucky, or Louisiana, or Arkansas, or Texas, or Florida. No. Christianity, Google the origins of Christianity, the history. Just Google Coptic Christians, Ethiopian Christians. Yeah. So this is a remixed version of Christianity, especially the white Christian nationalists, white Christian nationality, which is rooted, not in my opinion, same white Christian nationalists who embrace racism and anti-Semitism and sexism and misogyny and homophobia, that same version of Christianity that they use, that their remixed, edited Bible, and they taught their form, the enslavers had their ministers to teach our enslaved ancestors their version of Christianity that told them that they were supposed to worship their master. Now, you didn't learn that in the original Christianity that came from the continent of Africa. No. This was a remix, so people used a remix version of Christianity to oppress and exploit millions of people. Use that version of Christianity to enslave millions of people. And some of these same folks that subscribe to that form of white Christian nationalism, which we need to have a white Christian government and live by the tenets of white Christian nationalism. Not my words, Google Project 2025, because they got it in there for you to see for yourself. Now, these same MAGA cult members who call themselves Christians are some of the same people who in Idaho, in a little town, small town in Idaho, about 50 miles just south or west or east of Spokane, Washington. So those same white Christians in Idaho who were calling a bunch of young women who played basketball for the University of Utah over the weekend in the Women's March Madness tournament. These young women were they stopped to get a meal to eat in this little small town in Idaho, where they were staying at a hotel before they had to play a game in Spokane, Washington. And they were calling them niggers. Oh yeah, I didn't use the N-word. I want you to know, yeah, that's exactly what they called them. And were revving up their engines trying to intimidate them while they were calling these young college women basketball players, minding their business, just trying to bond with their coaches and teammates and eat a meal and go to their hotel room and get some rest before they played in their game in the Women's March Madness tournament last weekend. Those same white Christians. And is that what your white Jesus teaches you to call young women niggers? Just because they're trying to eat, to nourish their body and get rest before they have to play a game? Okay. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. We'll see if that'll get you in heaven. Good luck with that. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you and especially you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by CM Transportation. If you need dependable, reliable, on-time deliveries, CM Transportation, Carissa Carter. As a matter of fact, you can Google Carissa Carter. Yes, you can. You can find it CORISACARTER. Google C like Charlie, M like Mary, CM Transportation. And I'm going to do this on camera for you. I've got the contact number in the email, and I didn't get a chance to put it on my teleprompter. So here we are. www.cmtransportationllc.net, or you can call 843-606-2702. 843-606-2702, or go to www.cmtransportationllc.net. Call that number. Tell Carissa Carter, someone in the office, that Geno Jones told you to call, because you can say, listen, I have a business and I need dependable, reliable, on-time deliveries. Or I have a transportation company, but I can't depend on them. They're never reliable. And hell, my deliveries is like never on time. Or sometimes they're on time, or sometimes they're not. And that's hurting my business. CM Transportation will take care of your needs. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist of the Geno Jones Show. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts. Check him and his cuts, because the brother be cutting up. On Instagram, on IG, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her and her collection. She is a fashion designer and one of the next big thing in terms of fashion designers. You can check Allie and her collection out. LX.NCL underscores, that little dash at the bottom and behind the last L on IG or Instagram. LX.NCL underscore. All right, everybody. I love you. Thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody watching me live. Please feel free, if you got a question, comment. Hey, if you want to look, we can have a conversation on camera. We can do this. We can have a debate. So all y'all upset, say, leave Diddy alone, man. They're always trying to take the black man down. Sometimes they don't need, you know what? They don't need help, because sometimes we take ourselves down. And then sometimes people around us who call themselves our friends or our business partners or even family will see us taking our own selves down and will stand back and watch. And some of those same people who are supposedly your friends, maybe your business partners, associates, even family members, quietly will stand back and watch you self-destruct, because what they didn't tell you, that they was really jealous and envious of you anyway. And they knew you were going to self-destruct, and they weren't going to say anything because they wanted you to crash and burn. So they could say, well, yeah, look what happened. Man, it's a shame what happened to Geno. But supposedly they were friends or family or associates that could have stepped in and said something to at least attempt to save you from yourself. And instead of trying to save you from yourself, they were pouring gasoline on the flame. Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, you the man. You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, go on and do that. Man, ain't nobody got to know. Yeah, she look kind of young, but man, she thick. Look at that body. Yeah, go on ahead, man. Some of the same people who claim to be down for you, who claim to be happy for your success, could be silently plotting your demise, or allowing you to plot your demise, or to engage in your own self-destruction, and they are giving you a major assist because they want to see you fall. Oh, yeah. I know I hit a nerve there. I know I did. Even my mother had to post on that one. Yeah, I did. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. I love you. We'll see you live Thursday, 6:30 p.m. In the meantime, if you missed some of this episode, you can go back and binge watch it. You can go back and pull some video clips, create a YouTube short, as they call them, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or create a viral moment, a 30, 60, 90-minute, 2-minute clip, and put it up on whatever social media platform, Instagram, TikTok, X or Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, Facebook. Let's make it go viral. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you live Thursday night or afternoon if you're out on the West Coast. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in LA Thursday. The live version, the next live version. Go back and binge watch last night's episode, really, all week, because the monologues have been on fire all week. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.